When the world didn't want me and made me feel small, all I am is broken inside. Some echo identity who can't find his shadow always hurts mentally. All right, so we're going to be breaking down the lyrics of my first ever song, Isolationship. So this song, I wrote the song about 3 years ago, and the lyrics changed over the years for sure. I had a lot of different ideas for the song, and for why it took so long is I basically getting the hardware for what I wanted to do for instrumentation, but also just having the time to get the song right, to get it done. It just took a lot of thinking, and for it to come out at the beginning of this year is pretty cool. It's about time, about time I start releasing music. So without a further ado, we're going to jump into this. But yeah, I'm super excited to look at these lyrics and actually talk about them instead of thinking about them in my head, whether or not they make sense or not. But let's get into it. So the first verse here, we're just going to kind of read these. I'm not going to sing them because my voice is it's pretty dead, but it's like shot completely after doing all this. But let's just start with the first 3 lines. And also I'll talk about what the song is about, because there's a lot of different meanings. I've had a lot of different meanings in my head about what the song could be, if it's about a certain someone or if it's about a certain situation, and it's a bit of both, but let's just go over the lyrics first. So first verse, you invited me in, I felt in my skin the urge to break. So again, this all, if you watch the previous video, this all poured out of me. I don't know how to explain how I wrote these lyrics. It's just, it just happened. The song just came to me. And yeah, you invited me in, I felt in my skin the urge to break. So those first 3 lines basically describe to me, I think it was back in middle school, and like, I know what you're thinking, like, whoa, it goes back that far. I'm like, yeah, because I'm 26 now. This song only coming to me a few years ago, and middle school was like a long time ago, probably like a decade plus. Okay. There was a situation like where basically I asked a girl out and she said yes. And there's 2 different situations where the same girl is in it. The you invited me in part, basically referring to a situation where she invited me to like this group movie theater like experience. Like, we were basically going to the movies with a group of people, like a huge group of people. It wasn't just her and I, And when she did that, like, I felt in my skin the urge to break. Because I wasn't used to having a girl invite me out somewhere, but it was a group thing. It didn't really, I don't know, it felt like more of just a hangout more than anything, but, in pursuit of companionship, I accepted it and was like, yeah, sure, like, why not? This could be fun. And, I remember back to it, like, I don't know, I didn't really have any expectations of what it was going to be like. When it was all said and done, it was all over, I felt like I got nothing out of it. Like, it felt like there was nothing really happened. It was basically just, I got to see a movie, barely knew any of the people there, and that was that. So yeah, those first 3 lines go to that situation specifically, but the I felt in my skin the urge to break also refers to a situation where I asked her out. She said yes, but like, when it was to the movies and it was to see a movie, I ended up seeing the movie by myself because she ghosted me. Like, well, not ghosted, but she didn't show for the movie. It was kind of like I saw it by myself, and she was like, no, can't go, sorry. It's like, that was the one time someone said yes, and I felt utterly destroyed when that happened. And then the next day, she tries to apologize, and I'm just like, I'm done. Like, I'm done, with this whole thing. Like, I was just over it. Like, it's the worst feeling in the world, And then, of course, this line, I heard everything louder than the music you're enjoying. So I kind of thought back to, like, this is kind of a blank thought in my mind. Like, this didn't actually happen. But I thought about, like, a party when I was writing this. Like, I don't know why I thought of a party, because both the situations were movie related, but no, I thought of a party, like the perfect party. Like, I heard everything louder than the music you're enjoying. So, kind of like freaking out, not like a panic attack, but like just anxiety and like, I heard everything louder than the music you were enjoying. Because imagine like a perfect party, right? And the girl you have an interest in is just vibing to the tunes, just loving the music. And then you're not even like, you're not even paying attention to the music or her. You're paying attention to everything that's around you because everything is so chaotic. So I had two situations that are real here, but then I also like pictured a moment where like the perfect party, everything's going right, but then you freak out. And that's where that comes in. So this first verse all kind of points to all three of these things. And I think that's how the song came to be, just thinking about these things in my head. I'm like I didn't think about what I was picturing in my head when I wrote this until like maybe a year or two ago, But anywho, moving on to the pre-chorus, I couldn't take it anymore, so I just had enough instead. So basically, keep picturing the party part in your head when you're going into when you go into the pre-chorus. Couldn't take it anymore, so I just had enough instead. And then I headed straight for the door and said, so basically leaving the party because couldn't take it anymore. It's in my head, I feel like the girl in that perfect party image, right, is enjoying the party and not so much caring about like the person or me or in general. Like, I feel like she's more focused on that music instead of like the person. That's what I took from the lyrics and then just thinking about it, like I wrote these lyrics about a specific situation, but it also, again, there's parts in here where I'm like, I do go back to that moment in time in middle school. But yeah, so headed straight for the door and said, and then going into the chorus. And then at the perfect party, I feel trapped, like I can't move my body. So you're at this perfect party and you feel trapped, like you can't move at all. Like you just can't function. You're just stuck. And dude, if in any situation, like whenever I've been to like a family gathering or a party, I have felt like this. I have felt socially awkward, and I've kind of moved past socially awkward. I think I'm a little better than I was way back when. But this is what I feel when like I'm at a gathering like that, like a perfect party, and nothing's going right. I feel trapped, like I can't move my body. It's getting harder to breathe with people looking at me. It's getting harder to breathe with people looking at me. Think about those lyrics, right? Like it's that idea that it's the idea basically like you're not like having a panic attack, but you're getting to that point where it's like, oh my god, like I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to be here. I'd rather be somewhere else. And then with all the people looking at you, because like, when you're at a party, people just start looking at you like, what are you doing, you silly guy? You silly little dude. And it just gets hard to be there, And then I'm so scared to let these feelings be, so I'll leave isolated again. So there is no, the title of the song is called Isolationship, but there's no meaning, there's no mention of the word. And I did that on purpose. I did write lyrics in here originally that brought up the word, and it was kind of like almost spoken word-ish like vocals, and I was just like, when I put it into the full song, it was like 5 minutes, and I was just like, I think the 3-minute song is perfect. I don't need to add more to it. Don't need to make it more complicated than it already is, but yeah, and I'm so scared to let these feelings be, because imagine that perfect party again, where you're there, and you're like so scared, like you want to be with this girl, but you can't, because you're scared to leave, let these feelings be. And then you end up leaving, isolated again. The song to me is about an isolationship, but like on like a huge like scale, you know? It's like you want to be with this person, you want to be, I don't know, you basically, you don't want to be alone. But going out, being with people, like being at a party or being at a social event, it's like, it's too much. There's a lot I pull from the song, like real life stuff that's actually happened to me, and then I also pull from like situations that I've like pictured in my head. But anyway, let's keep going with the lyric breakdown here. So verse 2, and then this is kind of, again, panning back to an actual situation, like back to the middle school stuff, like when I asked someone out. So I liked you a lot, thought we were the perfect plot. So think about that, right? You like a person a lot, you get to know them more, and then like you think in your head, even if you like that person, you think in your head like you picture a life with them. You picture a story in where everything ends happily ever after. But it doesn't always work like that. And then like, you know, that's kind of like that situation there was like, you know, I asked that girl out and she ended up not showing up, and things were, you know, they never actually happened. So there was that. And then this next line here, next three lines, but I saw you there looking at me and I trembled in fear. For me, I really, you know, when I've wanted companionship, or if I've liked someone, back when I was really socially awkward, it was hard, like expressing my feelings or trying to tell someone how I feel, you know, like trying to ask someone out or whatever have you. Like it's like, you know, the moment you see your crush and they stare at you and it's like, oh, and then I just tremble and feel like literally. There were people I like used to have crushes on, and then like they'd look at me and I go, I'm not looking. They see me, I'm scared, you know? And yeah, I basically put a feeling of emotion into those 3 lines. Like, I have felt like that before, and I don't still feel like that, but like, you know, occasionally I get the, you know, I get the shakes, you know, get a little scared, but that's that. Moving on to the pre-chorus again, same thing, same lyrics, same feelings. We're gonna get into the bridge now, because it's just the same lyrics, except I do change the chorus every time it comes back around. So I take out isolated again and just say to let these feelings be, so I'll leave. And then going into the bridge here, I wish you knew the feelings I felt for you, because at the end of the day, when you like someone, you want them to know how you feel, no matter what, right? And you want to tell them how you feel, but you can't, because you're afraid of what they're going to say. And, you know, people say the worst thing they can say is no, but it's like, really? That is the worst thing they could say. Or they could tell me, no, you're ugly. You know, it's like, yeah, and, you know, that's what I get from that. But I wish you knew the feelings I felt for you. And then the next 3 lines, but I'll never get the courage to see this through. Because again, going back to how I was socially awkward, and I still a little bit am, when I was socially awkward, I never had the courage to see any of those pursuits through for companionship. Never. Not once. Never happened. And when I tried, it ended up blown up in my face. And then you go to these lines, if only I could get you to see how much you really mean to me. You know, I think about that line, I think about those lines a lot. If only I could get you to see how much you really mean to me. Like, I pair that back to, like, all the times I've tried to find companionship, ask someone out, or, like, tell them how I feel. And I just think, like, how can I get this to work? Like, I would always plan out how I would, you know, how I would, like, ask someone out or tell them how I feel. And it's like, I think I understand it now more than I did back then, how love and how relationships work. And it's why that song is titled Isolationship, because I've been alone for so long without companionship. And then, of course, going into the chorus, it just jumps back and everything is, like, elevated. And then the song ends with, I'm so scared to let these feelings be. So, like, the song, a lot of the song talks about how I'm so scared to let these feelings be, but I want them to be out there. But I'm like, how do I do this without screwing everything up and being alone again? You know, that's me personally. That's what I take from the entire song. And I like the song a lot, man. This song for me it's a little bit of therapy, I would think. And it's my favorite song, I think, out of all the other ones I've done. And I've wrote about, like, what, 45 songs? This is the 1 out of 45, so, you know, there you go. But, you know, we'll see more music in the future. But yeah, so if you want to, listen.